Welcome to Dishonored, where we play as Corvo, the bodyguard of the Empress of New York. We'll go with that, yeah. The Empress of New York. So we're her bodyguards and we just arrived back from the search for Case 37's father, who went to buy milk. We never did find him, but we assume that's because he fled to Ireland to get only the highest quality of milk. Anyways, enough discussing Case 37's childhood trauma. We take this wildly impractical water elevator, and Captain Jeff Kerno decides to stay in our way so we can't move. I can only assume he did this to assert dominance, and so the only reasonable thing to do would be to shoot him in his sleep. JK lols, because as we find out later, you get a game over screen every time you kill someone important. Anyways, we make our way over to the Empress, but on the way we start hugging this random child. But right before the FBI busts through my door like the Kool-Aid man, it's quickly revealed that this is the Empress's daughter, and they both love us because the Empress wasn't captured, thanks to us. Emphasis on yet a little foreshadowing for you all. So this Princess Emily wants us to play a game of hide and seek, and as I'm about to say no, she mentions that I'll hide and she'll seek. So I'm like,
I'ma fault with.
And she finds me almost immediately. Angry at this, I agree to one more game, but instead of hiding, I run away, leaving her to unknowingly play all alone while I go see her mom. I deliver a letter to the Empress, which she reads and immediately drops to the ground. Like, that letter had a wax seal and everything. It seemed pretty important. You really just gonna drop it there like that? The letter said something along the lines of the world quarantining New York to see if COVID completely wipes the population. Emily tried to comfort her mom by asking if she's okay because she seemed sad. Like, dude, you were right here when she mentioned that they're gonna use us as guinea pigs to see if the entire city gets goatseed by good old Auntie Rona, and you're really gonna play the you seem sad card? The Empress then asks where the guards are because they just left, and Emily asks what some guys are doing on the rooftop. Yep, this kid has a real lack of situational awareness. But as I try to run away from the very obvious danger, I get a tutorial pop up on how to fight. Now, I may not be a fan of protecting the Empress, but I'll kill any chance I get, and so that's what I do. I do it to no avail though, as Wanda Jacksonoff over here uses his OP ass magical abilities to restrain me as they stab the Empress and take the child before disappearing. It's at this point I really regret not saying swipe and no swipey, but hey, no point crying over spilt blood. I crawl over to comfort the Empress in a final moment, in the hopes that I appear in the kill cam, and she tells me to rescue her daughter. Like, I don't know if you got the memo there, Chief, but given that you're about to unsubscribe from life, I'm technically unemployed. I don't gotta do shit. And I guess as a spite move, she decides to die on the spot instead of staying alive an extra 3.5 seconds so that she could explain that I wasn't the killer. So I get blamed for the murder and they knock me out. See, I have a problem here though. I am armed and it's blatantly obvious that these guys plotted her murder, so why don't I just start swinging? I mean, I am sentenced to death according to one of them anyway, so what are they gonna do? Kill me now instead of later? Maybe I'm too nitpicky, I don't know. Moving on. The credits then roll and we see the name, Dishonored. Get it? Because we became Dishonored? If you didn't get it, don't worry, it took me a decade to realize. Also, I don't know if you realize this really cool Easter egg, but if you reverse and invert the logo, then it actually becomes unreadable. So do with that as you will. We wake up in prison to a guard telling us to eat because the meal came from a friend, and I don't know if that's supposed to be worrying or reassuring. At first I decide I'm not going to eat, as I'm going on hunger strike to protest my living conditions. I mean, look at this place. Sure, it looks like the average apartment you get in Chicago, but that doesn't make it any better. I get a bit peckish and I quickly realize that the guards don't actually want me to eat, so a better protest would be to eat the food that I got. I do so and I find a key as well as a note. I'm so glad that the key was under the bread and not inside it, because I'm pretty sure I just ate the whole damn thing in one bite. Like, I just inhaled it like some sort of steampunk Kirby. I take the key and eat the note too, because I always save space for dessert. Now it's just a matter of actually finding a way out of this prison, and if going to prison in real life on that excursion has taught me anything, it's that you should sleep on your back. But it also taught me that prisons oftentimes have an entrance and an exit. Like, they usually combined, it's an exit, it's both ways. So we just have to find one and walk through it. Seems simple enough, so we gear up by stealing this very conveniently placed sword and eating some coins before we see a bunch of guards all together in a room. We get a tutorial message telling us about the choice we have on violent killings as well as the benefit of not killing, likely to send a subconscious pacifist and political message relaying the idea that violence can always be avoided, and the destructive path of violence, more often than not, creates a negative feedback loop of said violence, while simultaneously directly and indirectly affecting the lives of innocent civilians by causing close and intimate losses, which in the long run results in trauma that is unjustified by the goals accomplished through these means. Anyways, thanks for the heads up, Peter, but we aren't pacifist pussies around these here parts, so we immediately get to killing. We also find this head, and while we haven't been in solitary confinement for long enough to warrant going insane, I'm in control, which makes insanity a perfectly sound explanation. So this decapitated head is now our new best friend. Say hello, go to Hedward. Hedward will be replacing Case 37 as he's still on the search for his father, and Hedward immediately proves to be a better teammate as he plays decoy really well. Also, Hedward never tells me that the enemy is one shot when he actually missed every damn shot that he took at said enemy. Yes, Case, I still haven't forgiven you for that. We later make it into some sort of interrogation / office room, which seems like a great design architecturally, making good use of limited space. But I imagine the horrific screams of pain and agony can really put a dampener on the situation. But to drown out those screams, the office owner has an audiograph player. After killing numerous enemies in a very planned and very professional manner, we find an exit, but we lose Hedward in the process. R.I.P. Hedward. Please drop an F in the chat for our fallen soldier. I'd like to say a few words in the form of a poem in the memory of my dear friend Hedward, or Hedwizzy as he was known by his multitude of lovers. My dearest friend Hedwizzy, who got more hoes than Drizzy, you're the greatest friend one could find, your beacon of hope, one of a kind, your delightfulness my happiness fed. No matter how far you are, you'll always be ahead. R.I.P. in peace, home dog. But I know you be getting mad shooting in the sky, my boy.
Yes, sir.
Damn straight, boy. Fuck yeah. Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah. Hedwizzy, 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 Hedwizzy. So is his wife single now?
Yes. Yo, the fuck did you say?
Get him.
Yo, get his ass. Get him. Yeah, fuck yeah, get him.
Up.
After this, we just make our way through a sewer. Nothing interesting happens. We just see a few rats eat some dudes alive. New York shit, you feel? I mean, there's also tons of food and water down here, which is an unusual sight given that I'm from Africa. But I'll try to hold my composure and not lick my screen out of excitement. Also, we find this crossbow and pocket knife. We make it out the sewer and greet our new friend on the outside. He takes us to an abandoned island, which seems sketch at first, but it's not sketch. In fact, I actually meet my future wifey there. Oh, and I also meet the devil, or at least he seems like he would be the devil. We also carry his mark now, you know, in exchange for superpowers, my soul, and like a Popeye's chicken sandwich. It's not important, okay? That's unimportant compared to the real juicy bits of the story. I'm tasked with killing a man. I don't know why. I think he has like a hentai version of Super Mario 64 or something. I don't know. I never paid much attention to the story, if I'm honest. But our target is also planning on killing my future wifey's uncle, and he happens to be Captain Jeff Kerner, the very man who stood in our way in the beginning of the video. Now we get to make him pay, but our wifey doesn't want him to die, so she's asking that we save him. But just like every time we have premarital relations, I'm gonna disappoint her. We head off on our journey to the city, and before I head off on the mission, I see Samuel is making some food for himself, so I eat it to assert dominance. I also move in to choke this guy out platonically. Yo, what the fuck? I also pick up this whale oil, which is a mystery masker tool that'll help us later. But we find we can't jump with it, so we actually just toss it. Shortly after, we hear an explosion. It's probably unrelated though, so we move on and we search for magical runes to give us more powers before we head off to kill our target. We're led to this granny's house. We find out near immediately that she's blind as she confuses me for her husband, who presumably also has a metal face. But I don't respond well to this. Not because I already have a wifey whose uncle I plan to murder, but because this lady's in her 70s, which is frankly too young for me. She has a problem with some hooligans though, as they're harassing her, and so she gives me the key to her door to go take care of them. I instead choose to choke her out, and she gives me like a damn near shock of my life by revealing herself to be like 20 rats inside a trench coat, Cartoon Network style. We also find out that she's immortal or all-powerful or some shit like that, like Queen Elizabeth, but not as sexy. So we hit a young reload save and just kill the 3 guys and get rewarded with another rune before we just run for our lives in the hopes that she doesn't sneak into my house and eat my ass while I sleep. We then make it to the area where the High Overseer is just big chillin'. We sneak in low-key and find the drinks that they were gonna use to poison my baby mama's uncle. As I'm about to mix them together so both drinks are poisoned, I think to myself that maybe I should be the bigger person. In a world where there's a plague and everybody's out for each other's head, I could be the positive change I want to see in the world by simply allowing myself to forgive past incidents and letting tomorrow be a better and brighter world for us all. I could be the catalyst to a better, kinder, more loving and more forgiving world by simply just sparing this guy.
Got him!
JK lols, I thought back to when he stood in my way, and you know what? Fuck him. So I mix the spiked drinks together like I'm a frat guy at a party, and I hide away in a nice spot with some popcorn to watch him die. I then loot their bodies and take the floor monies. Don't judge me, it's not like they're using it. Mission accomplished, our wifey's uncle has been successfully murdered in cold blood. It sounds a lot worse when you say it like that, but just remember he stood in my way. However, celebrating is the only thing I don't do prematurely, so we sneakily move out to the extraction zone. Well, sneakily until we get seen, then I just do the young 100-meter dash, afraid for my life. Samuel, yo, you gotta get the hell up out of here. We gotta leave.
From the way I hear it, Campbell lived a pretty posh life. Maybe it's not my place to say, but men of the faith should live like bears.
Samuel, shut the hell up. We just killed him. We have to go.
Okay, let's go.
Oh, also, we did tell our wifey that we couldn't save our uncle, or that we chose not to. And all she said was she doesn't know why she expected anything else. So, I mean, you know, she's disappointed. But to be fair, I don't know why she expected anything else either. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.